Well, let's stay with that story now. I'm joined by Mandour, an expert on Egyptian affairs and a columnist at Open Democracy. Majed, thanks for joining us. This is the second attack in Cairo within a few days. Is there any connection, would you say?
Well, it's very difficult to tell, but what is clear is that there is an increasing cycle of violence and counter-violence. And I would say that it is stemming from the government's repression. So it's not surprising. We still don't know who's responsible for the church attacks, and there is a proliferation of militant groups at the moment. So it's very hard to tell if there is a direct connection, but it's likely.
No, it can be the case. The Coptic Christians have lived in relative peace in Egypt for years until recently. How difficult is the situation for them now?
Well, I disagree with the first statement, because I would say that they've been subjected to violence and marginalization. Not the first time. There are many incidences.
But it's got a lot worse, hasn't it, in recent years?
I would say so, yes, of course, because of the general polarization, and there is the perception that they are supportive of the military and the coup, which is leading to greater polarization. But historically speaking, over the past decades, I would say, they've been subjected to periodic violence, which the state has been owning but hasn't tackled seriously.
Now, as we've been saying, 2 attacks in the matter of days. Is this the start of a new wave of violence in Egypt, would you say?
It can be the case. Again, it's very hard to tell, but it can be the case. At the moment, the more, let's say, the sophisticated militant groups are in Sinai. What was happening in the valley, so to speak, was primitive or more primitive attacks. If they will become more sophisticated, this can be the case. So it's not really surprising.
What do you think the response of the authorities will be to this latest attack?
Well, if we look at the history of the response, it hasn't been very well directed. So generally speaking, the counter-terrorism strategy of the government has relied on repression, sometimes very random. So it's not targeted, and it can basically make matters worse if they follow the traditional route, which is random mass arrests and repression. It will not be effective. It hasn't been until now.
Mandour, thank you very much indeed for joining us on TRT World.
Thank you for having me.